Hello and welcome to the Legacy Showcase. Been preparing for this tournament for a minute, and we're gonna be playing my Naya Reclaimer Brew. This deck is something that I put together a long time ago, but the card Minsk and Boo Timeless Heroes has really revitalized the archetype and has made it somewhat playable again. I've been actually uploading a bunch of different videos, like playing leagues and like tuning the deck and whatever. And this is where I arrived at this point in time, and I'm very happy with how the deck is playing out. I think it's actually pretty strong versus what I expect to see, which is going to be like a bunch of Yorion decks. Like, I just want to be playing against Yorion decks all day. I think I have a really good Yorion matchup. That is, of course, the wood of 4-color piles or whatever. I think that I can outgrind them fairly reliably, and I can actually answer any of their engines in a very rather easy fashion. So because of that, that has felt like a very good matchup, and something that I would be ecstatic to be facing multiple times alongside the tournament. Delver is a little bit more complicated because, of course, it's Delver. Like, the deck is just kind of messed up. So, you know, I have access to 5 Power Blast and Rather Mental Blast effects in the sideboard, and even with all of these and Sevin's Reclamation and 4 copies of Endurance between the main deck and the sideboard, the deck still has felt like a problematic matchup, or at least like 50-50 or slightly unfavorable. So the way that this deck works is we have a Green Zenith as an engine. Of course, we have, you know, a Dry Diver, but like the real MVP of this deck is Salvage Reclaimer. We're not trying to set up any sort of combo. We're just trying to grind our opponents down, and we do so by, you know, fetching for Flagstones of Trocaire and then like doing a bunch of growing the Reclaimer and just making our land drops to eventually have a Field of the Dead endgame. We also have access to Vesuva, which can copy our Field of the Dead. Also, there's the possibility of Bojuka Bog. So, like, you know, if we have a Reclaimer in play and we happen to draw a Bojuka Bog, Vesuva happens to be like an extra copy of that effect, which is very nice, and I think that most people won't really play around it. And Reanimator is a pretty popular deck. I don't know how popular it's going to be in a format where Delver is expected to be the best deck, and far and away the best deck. I don't think it's even remotely comparable, so I don't think the Reanimator wants to be playing against Delver that much, but, you know, you never know. So that is what we're trying to do. We also have like a little bit of a toolbox going on with Caracas and Wasteland, and we obviously have a Zenith toolbox, so we can find Collector Roof, Scavenging Ooze, Ramen-Up Excavator, Tireless Tracker, Knight of Autumn, and Titania, Protector of Argoth, which is going to be our endgame. So Endurance is fantastic in the format. It does kind of everything you want to be doing, like its interaction against combo decks that use the graveyard, like Oopsol spells and something like Reanimator, as I was saying. And it's also very good against Delver. Like, it just basically trumps Delvers and DRC, so at that point your opponent only has their Murktides to kind of break through. And we have a bunch of removal in Swords to Pelaushers and Prismatic Ending. Obviously, STP being able to kill Murktide means that it's better than Prismatic Ending in the format. And then a couple of copies of Silver Library for card advantage, and because a deck like this is fairly dependent on the top of their deck, so having access to a library to sort of smooth out your draws can be really powerful when you have these many shuffle effects, right? Like, we have a bunch of them. Finally, Mince and Boo, as I was saying, is like the card that put the deck back on the map for me, and I think it's actually just fantastic. Like, it's really hard to get like a full grasp of how busted this card is until you played with it or against it, and it just takes over the game in such dramatic fashion. So yeah, it's very strong. 3 copies have felt like the ideal number. I don't think you want to be playing many more than this, but it's been like an absolute powerhouse. And, you know, being able to play your hamster and then just like on the following turn just going ahead and killing it for 4 cards and 4 damage has been a huge deal. In the sideboard, we have a couple of copies of Force of Vigor. This is like the one change that I did in the list that I was testing. I had access to Meltdown, and I was not impressed with Meltdown, but at the same time, also Force of Vigor being an instant speed way to interact is kind of great against decks like that you may not really think about, like TES. You can, if they mess up their sequencing, you can get them pretty badly, which is nice. So like Force of Labor is a card that I would potentially bring in against a deck like TES, but I would definitely not bring in Meltdown versus them. So you do have the upside with Meltdown that against a deck like 8-cast, it's just like an absolute house, right? Like it just blows up basically the entire board for very small mana investment. So alongside that, we have, as I was saying, the 4th copy of Endurance. 5 Pyroblast effects. This is mostly for the Delver matchup, but it ends up working out well versus combo decks like Ant and stuff like Sneak and Show, like blue combo decks basically, or decks that have a bunch of cantrips. 4 copies of Deafening Silence, as you can potentially imagine. This is not like the best deck versus fast combo decks, fast spell-based combo decks is what I would say. And also Elves is a problematic matchup, but yeah, for Elves and stuff like that, we have access to the one of Tabernacle at Pendrail Vale, which we can find with Reclaimer, and then the game plan is basically get Knuckle in play, Wasteland their Gaia's Cradle, and then you are really heavily hurting their mana and putting them on a pretty big clock, basically. Then we also have a copy of Crop Rotation. Crop Rotation works well in order to find the Flagstones, or versus combo, you can, Crop Rot for Bojuka Bog versus like, I don't know, like Sneak and Show, you can Crop Rot for Caracas. So Crop Rot has like a bunch of utility, and also if you sack Flagstones, you're not down a land, which is also very sweet interaction. It's actual ramp, which is pretty sick. Finally, we have 1 copy of Sevinne's Reclamation. This is the classic for the grindy matchups card, and it works out really well because very often in the grindy matchups, what you want to be doing is just like getting back a fetch land, and the reason for that is that you're able to enable Field of the Dead a little bit quicker, which is exactly what you want. This is your end game right here, and Sevinne's Reclamation allows you to get your end game online a lot quicker, particularly with the flashback, right, where you actually get like the field and something else, or or like 2 fetch lands or something like that. So this is the decks I want to be playing today. Hopefully you will enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to it. And if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And finally, if you're interested in supporting the channel, you can do so through Patreon. You can also do so by making donations. I can play any deck list of your choosing on a YouTube video or live on stream if you would prefer that. And finally, you can also book coaching sessions with me. You can find all the information you need in the description of the video down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for round number 1 of the showcase. Round number 1, and it is on, what are we looking at here? Turn 1 Reclaimer. We got some interaction. I'm playing against a Yorion deck. Okay. Yorion probably means that we're gonna have some time. I think I turn 1. I'm gonna turn 1 a basic, because these Yorion decks are playing Wasteland nowadays. There's a Tundra, there's a Prismatic Ending. Would like to find a land so I can Zenith for another Reclaimer. Some Ponder action for opponent. Ponder and a Shuffle. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go get the Reclaimer here. And I guess I'm gonna find Plateau. Alternatively, I could have Vesuva copied my opponent's Tundra and then set up Minsk for next turn if I seen it for Dryad Arbor. But I think going like this and just forcing my opponent to have the removal spell right now, otherwise the Reclaimer takes over, is going to be overall more powerful. Opponent turns and fetches, so the perfect brainstorm. I always loved when Cedric Phillips used to call it the perfect brainstorm. Not so perfect because it's the worst possible art, but, I guess I'm gonna play a silly Collector Roof because I don't have anything better to do. And I guess I'm gonna copy this Trop. It's important to have different types for field purposes. Opponent's got a Minsk. Ooh, I can actually Prismatic Ending that thing. So I guess I just play. Yeah, I can just play Raminap, play Caracas, and then just like bounce these on upkeep after this trigger has resolved. So Caracas actually straight up stops the Minsk and Boo nonsense. I just stops it on its track. Force of Will pitching Udo. Wow. So I guess my opponent's super all in on that Minsk. But now we're gonna go upkeep. Let that trigger resolve. Caracas the hamster. Now we pass. That's kind of huge, actually. That's kind of huge. They also exiled Udo, so I don't know how much more gas they're gonna have. Never mind, they have expressive iteration, so they got gas aplenty. They got plenty of gas. So if we draw any untapped land, okay, that sucks. They have to waste now, and my ramming up is gone. That really sucks. So let's play Reclaimer, play Field of the Dead, and I guess I'm gonna clock over there a little bit. So we may answer the Minsk next turn, unless my opponent has 2 answers, because I can just Prismatic Ending the Brew and attack the Minsk. So obviously sucks that they can just have another one, but Ramana being dead, it's a huge deal though. An absolutely huge deal. Another Wasteland? Gross. I wish I could draw this well in my 60 card deck. Don't loan me, bro. Don't loan me. Okay. It's about to lose my shit. Okay, so. It's Prismatic Ending, the Boo. And now we're just gonna kill Minsk here. I'm gonna hold up Reclaimer activation. Minsk down. Opponent's got a Yorion in hand. We don't have any more information. We can bog. I think we're just gonna sack Vesuva there. Get Flagstones. Opponent could have Plow for Reclaimer. That's kind of what it is. It's fine. I think it's more important for me to develop my mana at this point. Also, my opponent has 5 mana, so it's pretty likely they have Hardcast Force. Endurance. Oh, please shuffle my deck. Yes! Yes! Let's plow that now. So I can go fetch Caracas now, and I can start bouncing my opponent's Yorion. That was a huge mistake from my opponent. Massive mistake. Absolutely massive mistake. That is so good for me. So if they go for Misting Sanctuary on Expressive Iteration, probably. Or what? On Ponder? Interesting. I think I'm gonna let them have it Ponder, actually. Oh, that's right, they can't go for Iteration because I just waste their Volk and they can't cast it. So that's actually pretty heads up for my opponent. Opponent chooses to not shuffle. Okay, so I have to bog here. And I think I want a Wasteland in the process as well. So let's get rid of my opponent's White Source. Say yes here. Jetmir's Garden. And Wujikabog. No lands for you. And now it's pretty good. Now let's do that. 1, 2, red, 1. Here's Minsk. And here's the concession. Good. Alright, 1-0. I like Power Blast and Rebs here. We even like skipped the draw step because we drew our Collector Roof, which is just a bear. But the bear was actually super relevant. Like the bear cleared my opponent's Minsk. Like it just kind of worked out. I've been cutting on all plows. It's strange now that they have Yorion, because Yorion is kind of a card that I really want to answer. It would make my sideboarding very clean. I guess Pyroblasts answer Yorion anyway. So the only card that goes in check now is Endurance. Endurance is the only card that Plow answers that I can't really answer any other way, like besides Prismatic Ending. But I don't think I want the 4th Endurance. I'd rather have all of these other cards. Maybe I should cut a Wasteland. Yeah, this is fine. Is this the nuts? Yeah, kind of is. So we need to find a green source with this once upon a times, but it's just so likely that we do. But it moves to 5. Move to 5. Here's a once upon a time. Do you want to force it? No force. I think I'm going to get Arid Mess up instead of Savannah. Like, I'm going to be fetching a Savannah anyway, but this way I get the Arid Mess out of my deck, and that's one more land for Reclaimer. Actually, I think I'm going to get a Taiga here. Yeah, because of Reb. Sure, they could have Wasteland, but I wonder if they're going to force this. Oh, no, yeah. I don't think they can afford to. No Wasteland is good for us. Prismatic Ending kills the Reclaimer. I don't think I'm going to Wasteland here. I think I'm just going to deploy Scavenginous. There's an argument for playing Once Upon a Time instead. And the reason for that is in case my opponent finds a Wasteland. I mean, sure. I can fix my mana if I want to, right? Like, I can just Wasteland my own Flagstones. Okay, the 1-for-1 Terminus. I'm okay with that. I am okay with the 1-for-1 Terminus. They keep hitting the land drops. I'm gonna once upon here looking for Reclaimer. We don't get there. Let's get Caracas as an answer to Minsk. So now next turn we can go Tracker into Wasteland. Opponent's like, oof, they're cantripping. They are cantripping hard. Okay. Let's play Tireless Tracker. And I think I'm just gonna Wasteland their green source. Yeah, because they have Taiga. So if I waste their green source, that makes it so they don't have double green and they can't cast Minsk. Let's, I guess, waste now. Okay. Also important there to make sure that they don't have access to Mystic Sanctuary because they actually have the Terminus in the graveyard. This Endurance doesn't really do anything for them. Put Yorion to hand. Okay, that's acceptable. We have the Caracas. Okay, so let's play the land. And I'm just gonna fetch main phase here. Make sure that we get our clue. And I'm just gonna pass. Because we're gonna have the option to either Endurance or just crack 2 clues. I'm missing out on the possibility of drawing exactly Reclaimer. That's gonna get Prismatic Ending, so that's fine. I'm missing on the possibility of drawing exactly Reclaimer, but I think that's okay. So let's crack some clues, let's see what we get. Zenith is good. I guess I would have drawn exactly Reclaimer. I guess I would have drawn exactly Elvish Reclaimer. Good to know. Okay, so let's play Wasteland. We're gonna Zenith for 1 to fetch Reclaimer. Let's see if my opponent forces. They do. And then we just Prismatic Ending the library. And that should be game. Now we get to attack. We get to Wasteland their green source again. We're winning the race. Everything's coming out Millhouse. Oh, okay, that's literally the best possible thing they could have ever drawn. They could have not find anything better than that. So that's pretty good for them. It's pretty good for them. Okay, now we can Zenith for Raminap. I'm kind of into it. And I'm gonna... I just keep destroying the island so my opponent can't Sanctuary. And next turn we are representing lethal with this Tireless Tracker. Even if they have... Wow. Iteration into iteration. Those are some good draws. So nothing to find the plow. They didn't. Alright. 1-0. Great start. Alright, round number 2. Another Yorion Gamer. Pretty good hand. We're on the draw though. Turn 1 Arid Mesa. Okay. I think I'm gonna save this Zenith so we can get another Reclaimer. Pass the turn. The Shadamport? Oh. Are we playing against some form of TNT? Yes, we are. Indeed, we are playing against some form of TNT. They reveal Jite. They reveal Jite. What are the chances that my opponent has... I think I'm just gonna get Savannah here, and that's what I'm gonna sack. But now Reclaimer is a 3/4. I don't care about the Stoneforge. They could have Caldra, but they can just plow the Caldra token. Caracas. Okay, so they do have a Caldra in hand already. Yeah. I think that's kind of okay. Like, it's a lot of damage, but we have the plow. We can also draw Prismatic Ending. And here we're just gonna get the Flagstone's engine going. Yep, that's the even better answer. Pass the turn. Next turn we can Titania if we want. Plateau. So I guess they're probably playing Magus. So I have to watch out for that. I'm gonna be fetching for some basics. Maybe I should have played the Windswept Heath there, honestly. Now that I think about it. Skyclave. That is fine. Suck Flagstones. We're gonna get a basic Plains. And then... do we just want to get Field here? I think so. We're just gonna get that engine rolling. Flagstones. Okay. Like, it's not the best, but it's a way to trigger this. Like, and it finds my second basic Plains. Opponent can bounce the Titania. That's fine. We'll just redeploy it next turn. But if they're gonna do it, they have to do it now. Solitude. Peachy and Recruiter of the Guard. Okay. So Flagstones, yes. And I think I'm gonna get basic Plains. Next turn we have a couple of options. We can go Zenith for Tracker. Here we take 3, we don't care, obviously. Interesting that they did not play out the Jite. Sarah Paragon. Not gonna lie, that's kind of sexy. It's very strong. So let's Zenith for 3. And we're gonna get a Tireless Tracker. Play a fetch. We know that one of their cards in hand is a Jite. It's Snow Covered Forest. And I'm fetching like this because I'm hiding the fact that I have access to Minsk, that I have access to red mana. So next turn we're gonna get another Field of the Dead. So they gain 2, and the Mesa gets exiled. And now that they resolve this, I'm gonna have to plow the Paragon, because otherwise they're just gonna get to cast the Solitude. So just gotta get rid of that. I think we're kind of in okay shape here. What do I not want to see? Like Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp could be very good here. Yorion to hand. This is kind of like a slow Flicker Wisp. I mean, they have the Caracas thing going on, but they're gonna be able to reset the Caldra. They're gonna be able to. Well, that's good. I guess it's not. It's not that they have Caracas. So let's start by Cracking Clue. Endurance. I think I'm just gonna copy Field of Dead. Get some Sombo action going. Let's crack Clue. Wasteland. Waste is not terrible, because it allows me to kill Caracas and then get Minsk and Boo online. Do I want to shuffle my graveyard? Not really. They're tapping Caracas? Okay. Tapping Caracas there is pretty interesting. So here they exile Tracker. They get something with Stoneforge, which is Batterskull. Take Tracker and they get Caldra again. Do I want to play Endurance? I don't think so. I have more mana. Collector Oof is kind of nice. So let's play Oof. And I guess I'm gonna have to set up some form of 1 turn lethal. I can sack a zombie to kill Stoneforge. That means that the Minsk dies. But it also means that they have to spend all of their mana to cast Batterskull. Does the Skyclave matter? I guess I can protect the Minsk for a turn. No, I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm at 12. Seems pretty important to kill the Minsk. To kill the Stoneforge. Because it's so inefficient for them to put the Battle Skull in play otherwise. So I think I'm going to. Gonna sack a zombie. Kill Stoneforge. And pass. So Yorion's gonna kill Minsk. Which sucks. But it is what it is. They can also just like Caracas, bounce Yorion, and reset everything. Minsk down. I'm just gonna hardcast Battle Skull here. No, they're just gonna go for the other play. Which makes sense. I think this is a pretty good play. It just makes use of their mana a little bit better. We do get a 3/3 out of the deal though. But they get to exile my Collector Roof. So if I drop Prismatic Ending, Knight bottom. Huh. So if I attack all, they block, block, block. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Down 1. Then I take 5. Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go for that. It also forces them to chomp with the Skyclave. That's lethal, yeah, you can't do that. That you can't do. Perfect. And now... I actually saved the Knight of Autumn for the Battle Skull. I am, however, going to blow up the Caracas. And pass the turn. This means they can suit something up with Jite, but that means that they lose a blocker. So I think we're good here. I think we're in the clear. Yeah. Play Endurance. And guess they could have another Paragon, so I'm gonna shuffle there. Well, I just realized that they couldn't have cast the Solitude. So, whoops. Paragon only says CMC 3 or less. Destroy target artifact. And zwing. Nice. Minus 17. Alright. Taxes. Give me some forces. Give me Sevin's Reclamation. And I'm always wondering whether I should be playing Tabernacle versus Taxes. I think the answer is no. But it may be closer than I think. Also, my opponent's playing a version that very likely has access to Magus of the Moon, so I have to be wary of that. I'm gonna have to aggressively fetch basic, which is something that I want to do against Taxes anyway because of Wasteland, but just to be aware of that. All of my cards are very good. Maybe Once Upon a Time? Scavenging News? Like, it's good against Paragon, but that's about it. Yeah, this seems fine. Oof, what a hand. What an interesting hand. I think I'm gonna keep it, but like, one Wasteland can be just absolutely backbreaking. Like, I may just straight up lose to a Wasteland. If they go turn 1 Vile, though... Oh, turn 1 Mom. I guess I have to kill that. Turn 1 Vile was not going to change my play. I was still going to go for turn 1 Garden. And then, Uptick Vile, whatever. But turn 1 Mom is just so threatening. Green Source. Sweet. So here's a Basic Forest. And here's an Elvish Reclaimer. There's an argument for fetching for Dryad Arbor there. I'm surprised they still have Thalia in their deck. That's the... Like when I used to play a lot of Maverick, this was literally the first card that I cut every single post-cyber of the game. Now that I drew another basic, I'm just gonna go find Reclaimer. No blocks. Stoneforge. That is kind of a problem. That is kind of a problem. Caldra is not the Stoneforge, but what the Stormforge brings alongside it. So I could cycle looking for a fetch land. That does not seem very good. I could Zenith for 1, find Dryad Arbor, but that's going to be 2 mana because of Thalia, so that also doesn't seem very good. We have a very clunky turn right here. I think I'm supposed to... I mean, I'm definitely playing Jetmir's Garden. The question is now this... Yeah, I think I'm supposed to... I think I'm just a little bit too far behind on mana. Maybe I should have done this last turn, actually. It's quite possible that I messed that up when I should have done this last turn. So now they're going to activate Stoneforge, which is very good for them. And I don't think I'm going to get my engine online quickly enough. I could chump block with Dryad Arbor, but that delays the zombie, so I think I have to take 7 here, down to 9. We could double block, but then what happens if my opponent deals first strike damage and then bounces Thalia? Ugh, that's a good wasteland. That's a real good wasteland right there. Am I dead here? I may just be dead. I may just be dead. I guess I need to find... I'm not like wildly far behind. So... Cathar Commando? Sure. So like if I find a way to stop the germ, I may be in okay shape. We're gonna be getting hella cute here. This exiles the creature. Okay. So let's see if my opponent sees the line here. Like, I'm gonna go for this. And now first strike damage is gonna kill the Dryad Arbor, which is gonna make Reclaimer into a 3/4, and then Reclaimer is gonna kill the Cathar Commando. Put Yorion to hand. That's a lot. That really is a lot. So we had 2 3/4s. Let's crack Clue, looking for Plow or something. Second Reclaimer. So we're in Chumblock City now. I think I have to attack. We Chumblock here, take 1, 2, 3, 4. It's lethal. So I guess I have to attack with only the Tireless Tracker. We lose to the Yorion in the air, obviously. And if they have Swords to Plowshares, I guess I don't lose because I gain 3. But my opponent came out super quick out of the gates, and I ended up losing to the ATB tapped Jetmir's Garden, because if I had been able to go turn 1, I guess I would have been able to... I think I should have needed to kill the thing anyway. Should have needed to kill the mom anyways. So maybe it would have been the same. So here we can Plow Caldra. We're attacking with Tracker. So this gives me a Reclaimer activation. My opponent's gonna get to reset Yorion though. Block there. Source the Plowshares. And I'm gonna have to get Caracas with Elvish Reclaimer, so Caracas can keep the Yorion in check. They didn't save. The downside of this play though is obviously the fact that, you know, Yorion keeps resetting the Caldra complete, so it's not a perfect plan. Far from a perfect plan, but it is kind of what we gotta do here. Unfortunately, we're not in the best of spots. My stuff is cheaper though. I assume they're gonna get Batterskull. Yep. I think I'm gonna have to sack Field of Dead. As awkward as that may be. Caracas. We do get a Tracker trigger. Land? Night of Autumn. This is not doing anything. This cannot destroy Caldra. So we're cracking Clue. We really need to hit land drops here. That's a land drop. Now the question is, do I crack Clue? Do I activate Reclaimer once again? Very many options. Very many options here. Am I just forced to gain 4 with Night of Autumn? So I'm gonna have to chump block with Tireless Tracker, I think. So we're just gonna pass here. So we're gonna chump block with Tireless Tracker. We're gonna have to bounce the Yorion. Don't really have another option. And let's see what my opponent does. So block here, crack a clue, so I take a little bit less damage. Caracas. This is not looking great. This is not looking great. The third Minsk is kind of the nail in the coffin there. The last Minsk is a little bit of the nail in the coffin. What can we draw at this point? I think we're just too far behind. I think I'm just gonna concede. Oh, they have Lion Sash? Good to know. Yep. This looks good to me. I don't think Knuckle is where I want to be. Okay, what do we got? Pretty solid hand, actually. Let's keep it. Once upon first for another Reclaimer. Don't mind if I do. Let's get my basic forest on. And pass the turn. The difference between play and draw in this matchup, as you can see, is kind of kind of unbelievable. Either bile. Okay. So I think that I want to Zenith plus play second Reclaimer. And this is so next turn I can double activate Reclaimer. I don't think I care about the Vial too much, but I do care a lot about having my engine online. Spirit of Labyrinth does not do anything whatsoever. So let's fetch a basic plains and just chill here. They can't Vial in a Magus, so there's no need for me to activate this at sorcery speed. I guess the only need would be if my opponent answers. So I guess I should have made one activation of Reclaimer. 3 mana for Recruiter. So I guess I'm gonna do this now. For Flagstones. Now Recruiter resolves. And now my opponent can find Solitude and they can kill one of my Reclaimers. What a massive difference between play and draw though. Stoneforge. Interesting. We're just gonna go for Kaldra here. I imagine so. Lion Sash. Is the oof about to collect? Is that what's going on here? Is the oof really about to collect right now? Flagstones. Land. Land would have been the best possible draw there, because it allows me to activate both Reclaimers plus play Collector Oof. As is, though. I'm just gonna do this. And I'm not gonna attack because my Reclaimers are better than everything that my opponent's got going on over there. Rishadan Port. Super Plowshares. I'm gonna activate now in case of Magus. And I think we find Field of the Dead here. So I think they're gonna Recruiter for Magus. Yeah. So now I got the board kind of locked up. Oh, you love to see it. But I think it's too important for me to blow that up, so I'm just gonna get Knight of Autumn, blow up Vial. And now we're gonna sack, I guess, the Savannah for the second basic forest. And at this point, the Magus... Oh, they have Kaldra too, the Naturally Druid? Ugh. Damn it. Alright. I guess that's the way that I get punished. I guess it's not that bad. Like, it's not great, but it's not that super crazy bad, because we have access to Titania. Second Vial sucks for me a little bit, though. Let's get my second Snow-Covered Forest here. I mean, you can also just draw a Sword to Plowshares and the game ends, right? Hey, hey, look at that. Would you look at that? So let's just get Wooded Foothills here. The zombie apocalypse begins. Also, I guess we have good attacks with the Reclaimers now. And with the knight of bottom for what's worth. So now we're gonna have two 5/3s. Down to 5 minutes on clock, so I'm gonna have to hurry up. The 5/3s are gonna clock my opponent pretty well though, I imagine. Lion Sash. Perfectly fine if my opponent's gonna be using their mana for this. I'm all about it. Only one card left in hand, which I don't know about. They're going for Yorion. Okay. I'm gonna make a zombie, make a 5/3. Let's find the Taiga. Good drop. So once upon, ooh, Ramunap. Hell yeah. 1, 2, 3. Play a Ramunap. Get Flagstones. Sack here. Make a 5/3. Get a Plateau. Get Vesuva to copy my Field of the Dead. And I think we're just gonna STP the... but they reset it with Yorion, so I guess it's not that good of a play. If I STP here, we attack for 5, 10, 1, 2. That's not really that good of an attack. So I'm trying to set up a single lethal attack step. That Vial is really annoying though. I may have to kill the Recruiter. No, actually I'm gonna let it go. Like, this is gonna be a lot of value for them. This is gonna be a whole lot of value. Let's see what they get. Batter Skull doesn't actually matter that much. Skyclave. They can't cast that though. Prismatic Ending. Okay, let's get another Flagstones. More zombies. Let's plow Yorion. Prismatic Ending Kaldra. So allows me to get in some pretty good attacks here. Oh, I should have played Minsk too. Whoops. For 2 mana, I don't think I'm afraid of anything. Thalia, sure. So they get a free block on one of my dudes. Really. I think I am going to play Minsk. I'm going to kill the Lion Sash. Sevines. I think I'd rather double Reclaimer than Sevines Reclamation. And again, I'm doing this main phase because of Magus. So I get a land of Flagstones. I think we're just going to find Wasteland here. And then with the other Reclaimer, we're going to find Caracas. So unless they have a sweeper, I think we're going to be able to go wide enough to win this. Reclaimer, sack Plateau. Sure. Get Caracas. So you have to worry the fact that they have Batter Skull. Oh. Well, now we win. Sweet. I don't know why they do that. I wonder what they're trying to play around by doing that there. Because now they have 0 cards in hand. Like they're just dead. there's no. I don't even need to do anything. I'm just gonna Sevines for Knight for value, obviously, but I don't really need to do anything about it. They're trying to see what they port. That's what this stop is about. Spoiler alert, it's not going to matter. We are most definitely done here. Alright, my opponent finally chose to tap the Caracas, which seems acceptable to me. And this should be game. Nice. I think that they're just, I don't know, like, seeing if they can time me out. Because like this just makes no sense, right? They have no place at all, and they're just like playing glacially slow. So they're just you know, wasting everybody's time right now. Blow up Batter Skull. Play a land for value. And just swingle. F6 and win. Excellent. 2-0. You love to see it. Round number 3. On the play. Sure. This hand obviously needs to draw stuff, but I'm not one to mulligan turn 1 Reclaimer and some lands. Hopefully this Once Upon a Time delivers. Opponent does not reveal companion. So hopefully if they're playing a combo deck, they're playing a combo deck that it's not good versus it's not good versus Bojugabog. I think because I am 100% going to go turn 1 basic forest, I am going to fetch before Once Upon a Time. Mull to 4. The reason for this is Flagstones. I'm not gonna get greedy. I'm gonna get a second Reclaimer instead. The reason for this is that if I find Bojugabog there, right, then I know that it's gonna be in the bottom, and I'm not gonna need to like do anything. Pass the turn. Okay. So I'm just gonna get Savannah here and pass it back. Mull to 4 plus pass the turn. So we may be facing off an unfair deck. Now we just start doing the thing. Get Flagstones, play Wasteland, play a second Reclaimer. Now the best ploy in Magic, which is Flagstones for Flagstones, can be executed. Oh yeah, baby. Sack Flagstones. Go get Flagstones. Whew. The hotness. The hotness. So now that I drew Titania, that makes me not want to play out the fetch. But that's really the only thing that changes. I'm still gonna double activate Reclaimer here. And then we can basically set up lethal for a single turn. Chrome Mox. Okay, so I guess it's... Wait, what is that? Cabal Therapy? Oh, is this Oops? This may be Oops All Spells. Yeah, it is Oops All Spells. Dark Rit. Monkey. Balustrade Spy. Okay. So, gonna let that resolve. Triggers on the stack. We do get to see their entire deck here, which is nice. Flagstones triggers. Got a Plains. Bojugabog. Bug you. And it's nice that if they, for whatever reason, they have like a Stifle or something, it just doesn't matter because we just like Vesuva, Vesuva the Bojugabog, which is pretty sexy. So we do get to take a peek here. So this looks just like Memory's Journey. Thoracle, Lotus Battle. Okay, so I guess that play will actually matter. Awesome. Vesuva, Bojugabog. You. Got him. Oh, that was so sexy. That was so sexy. I don't think they have any ways to draw cards, so they would have been... Like, they would have needed to just, like, wait 3 turns to beat me, but this guarantees the win. So they're playing Cabal Ritual, Monkeys, Bridges from Below, and then I imagine they're playing Dread Return. Yeah, so Dread Return for Thassa's Oracle is the win condition. Sounds good. Okay, so Endurance, obviously pretty good. Crop Rot, obviously pretty good. Deafening Silence is kind of awkward. And the reason why it doesn't quite work is because they play like a bunch of creatures. Like, like all that matters for them is like to... it's good on the play, right? Like if we have Deafening Silence on turn 1, that's gonna be good. Like a pretty reasonable amount of the time. The thing is that we have so many bad cards that like I may just bring them in because of lack of other options. I guess Pyroblast allows me to win Counter Wars. I guess. So what's bad? What's actually bad? This is bad. This is bad. I think Field of the Dead, maybe it's bad. So maybe I have room for a couple of Pyros. Titania is kind of just a way to end the game, but Collect Roof stops their mana. And I think it's better than Force of Vigor. Let's go with this and see what happens. Having Bog in the opener is kind of beating, but it's fine. Because we have Endurance into Zenith. They could have like unbeatable hands though, right? That is always a possibility for them to have a hand that just has the combo with Pact of Negation protection. Like that's just what the deck does. So there is that possibility. Here we're gonna do the same thing. And if their last card in hand is Pact of Negation, we lose the game. But if it's not, we're gonna be in really good shape. Okay. So we just have to beat we have to beat a 2/3 flyer. It's endurance though, right? Like it's not. I'm still gonna definitely silence. And finally enough, we drew a Burjuka box, so we're gonna be able to like prismatic ending this thing if it gets down to it, which would be unlikely, but could happen. Yeah, I'm gonna play out the bog because it's not really doing anything in my hand. This is turning out to look like it's a potentially ridiculous game. I have time, so I'm just gonna wasteland them here. So we're gonna take 2 more here, which is fine, I guess. Let's play Taiga. And we're gonna take 2 more after that. Shaping up to be a pretty hilarious game. I did not expect to prismatic handing a Balustrade Spy in this game. Tell you that much. So I think I'm just gonna scene it for 3. And we're gonna go for Tireless Tracker. Oh, we can go Scavenging Ooze. It's so close. Like, it's just so close. I'm gonna go for Tracker. This may be wrong. Maybe I was just supposed to go for Scoos. But I think that I actually need to... oh, wow. We got there. Sick. Yeah, I guess Definite Silence was good there. Wow. I guess we fortunately did not lose to a 2/3 flyer, but we're off to a 3-0 start. Let's keep it going. Okay, time for round number 4. This hand is kind of interesting. We can make Reclaimer a 2/2, a 3/4 on turn 2 if we want to, if it survives. I think I'm keeping... It's a little bit clunky. I don't love having the Vesuva in the opening hand. But I think it's still a keep. Opponent did not reveal a companion, and we don't know what they're up to just yet, so bulk. So I guess just some Delver action over there. I am somewhat interested in playing a Plateau and saying go in case my opponent wants to wasteland it. Because what that would do is it would make it so my Windswept Heath turns the next Reclaimer into a 3/4, and then I don't have to worry about Lightning Bolt any longer. Bonder does shuffle. Opponent may be looking for a land. They found it. Caracas. Huh. I guess I'm gonna do that. It also allows me to play around Daze on the Green Sun Zenith, which is probably my opponent does have, but it was better for them to bolt the Reclaimer on 1 as opposed to Daze in it. Iteration is messed up here though. And at this point we are pretty sure that my opponent is just Blue-Red Delver. Is the only deck that runs Steam Vents. Lightning Bolt was exiled. They're gonna bolt my face straight up. Okay. Ugh. So if they have another Lightning Bolt, the thing is, if I do nothing, I'm falling just too far behind. So I have to go get Reclaimer here, and I am 1 land away from it being a 3/4, but I think I can't fall any further behind. And they have used already 2 Lightning Bolts. Maybe they have Chain Lightning, maybe they don't. I don't know, but if I do get to untap with this Reclaimer, I think we're gonna be in okay shape though. Unless they drop a Murktide, and then I'm gonna need to find Source to Plowshares, so I'm probably gonna lose to it, because it's gonna be a 2-turn clock. Play land, fetch. Really hoping for no Bolt into Murktide. DRC into Murktide. Okay, so not the absolute worst case scenario, but we're still under a lot of pressure here. We draw a blank, which doesn't do anything whatsoever for us. And I guess we're just gonna pass the turn here. We can make Reclaimer into a 3-4, but the Murktide is gonna be a 2-turn clock. I don't know if we're gonna be able to raise that. Opponent goes to combat, swings for 8. We go down to 8. And I imagine if my opponent is smart, they're just going to kind of do nothing here and just hold up Force of Will. Okay, gonna crack here, Flagstones, get Jetmir's Garden. It's kind of brutal how we draw land every single turn. We actually did not draw any spells this game. Literally no spells. Alright, game number 2. Let's see if we can draw some spells this time around. So I like Savines, I like all the blast effects, and I think Endurance is good, and everything else is not. So Collector Oof out. I've been cutting Caracas in this matchup, and Night of Autumn, and the libraries. I think the libraries are just a little bit too slow. I've also been cutting one Prismatic Ending because it also answers Delver or DRC, which Pyro already answers Delver, and it also answers Murktide, which is even more important. And I think the last card I've been cutting has been the 3rd copy of Minsk. It's interesting that maybe I want to be cutting Titania, but as a 5-drop and a green Zenith target in the late game, you know, just as a one-off, it's probably better than the 3rd copy of Minsk. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The Delver matchup in my experience has been about even. Just about even. Also, I guess there's an argument for cutting a Wasteland instead of the Caracas. Because basically I have better uses for my mana than my opponent. So I'm basically never going to be wastelanding my opponent unless it's a very specific scenario. Like I'm somehow very far ahead. Like I go turn 1 Zenith into Dreadharbor and my opponent, you know, they just ponder on turn 1 and then I play wasteland them, and then like drop, I don't know, like a Reclaimer or like Zenith for Reclaimer or something like that. So it's kind of like a very specific scenario where I would want to do that. But if that scenario were to happen, it would be when I'm on the draw. So game number 2 versus Delver. Sure, let's keep this hand. We have double basic, which is nice against Wasteland. We have turn 1 Reclaimer. Forces my opponent to effectively have the answer on the first turn. Arid Mesa is interesting. So I'm not going to wasteland my opponent this game. I think I'm going to Arid Mesa, and I'm just going to Mesa for Savannah here and play Reclaimer. Again, if my opponent wants to like wasteland my Savannah, I'm kind of all about it. Because now I'm on the play, right? So them wastelanding me is not nearly as problematic as it would be if I were on the draw, when my opponent has a threat in play. I'm basically going to be holding on to this Taiga until I find like a Rev or Minsk or something, because I don't have that many red sources. I have the Jetmir's Garden, I have the Taiga, and I have the Plateau. Submerge. Okay. It's interesting. In a way, it's kind of nice because it allows me to like play around days. Because I wouldn't have, like, it basically allows me to play something, right? Because I wouldn't have wanted to play a Scavenging Ooze into a daze there. Opponent Brainstorm, so they're gonna be able to flip the Delver. Let's see what they got. Expressive Iteration, that's pretty good. Ugly. Ugly, ugly Insect Elaboration art. So they shuffle with Brainstorm off the Polluted Delta. Maybe they have a Bolt. DRC. It's pretty nice, actually. So when do I do this is the question. So we're gonna play Snow-Covered Forest. Huh. Am I just playing Scavenging Ooze? If I just play Scavenging Ooze, then this Reclaimer is gonna take a minute to become a 3-4. But the thing is, I have the Murktide kind of covered. Would love to find a Reb. I think I'm gonna play Skoos, and the reason to play Skoos here is so that I can prevent my opponent from assembling Delirium, because they have Iteration, and also if my opponent bolts my Reclaimer, like I can't actually make the Reclaimer into a 3-4 this turn, and now I have 2 threats for my opponent to deal with. Like they can't just deal with one Like if they have a bolt, they just kill my Reclaimer and I'm just left with nothing, right? Like my opponent doesn't need to do anything. So if they iteration here, which is probably what they should do, then... Oh, they swing first? Okay, so that makes sense. That is because they don't want to assemble the Yorion, be forced to attack, and then they just get basically a free block. So that's very smart sequencing from my opponent. They get to maximize their cards. Very smart sequencing there. Also, this uses my mana better, right? Because I can use the Scavenging Ooze mana, I don't have to play into this. What I do wonder is whether my opponent did leave... Ugh, they found Bolt. But now the question is like, what do they bolt, Reclaimer or Scavenging Ooze? They bolt Reclaimer. Which is correct. It's exactly what they should do. Okay, so there goes that. And now we're gonna eat the Ponder. Ugh, okay. So I'm kind of really interested in keeping Murktide in check. So I'm gonna do like a little bit of eating graveyards. Eat this emerge. And I think I'm gonna chill now. Pass the turn back. There's an argument for plowing DRC there. I don't think that's what I want to be doing. Man, I really wish I had an Endurance. Endurance is like such a beast in this matchup. Because it would have been able to, like, all these 3 mana that I sunk into exiling my graveyard, my Endurance would have been just calm down, it completely eats my opponent's graveyard, and then it also blanks the Insectile Aberration. So Endurance would have been an absolute house there. Go for the same play here. I may need to eat my own Reclaimer? Vomit. I really hate how good this Delver deck is. Also, I probably should have eaten the Brainstorm there. Okay, so the XL Brainstorm. Never mind then. Scavenging Ooze is doing stuff. Scavenging Ooze is kind of doing stuff over there. Now we can turn this into a 4-4, which is nice. We're also blanking my opponent's Mystic Sanctuary angle. So Scooz is kind of doing it a little bit. I'm still gonna eat my graveyard. I know that, you know, it looks like my opponent's gonna be able to, you know, like chomp attack into my Scavenger. That's just not how that's gonna work out. They're just gonna drop a Murktide. They're not gonna be able to. They're just not gonna need to attack with DRC, and then I'm just gonna get blown out. So I think it's better for me here to just eat the Murktide so I can make this Goose into a 3/3, and then I can potentially draw it in well by eating my Reclaimer. Another Delverino. Can I draw Endurance, please? If I do draw an Endurance, I'm gonna feel like I'm in okay shape. It's not it, though. That is most definitely not it. So I think I'm gonna plow this Delver. Because I know for a fact that they're gonna be flipping it, because they brainstormed, so they set it up. Let's eat my own Reclaimer. I've been drawing like absolute garbage this game. just absolute trash. Complete and utter garbage. Can I start attacking? I don't think so. I think that the 1 point of damage is actually going to swing the race back in my opponent's... It's actually going to keep the race in my opponent's favor. So I'd rather my opponent not be able to swing in for one. Man, if I only had Endurance. Even if I had found Zenith, I would have been able to Zenith for Endurance. I think I want to eat... I want to eat the Brainstorm now. Just F6. They could have another Submerge, which would be really annoying. And they can drop a 3/3 Murktide, which maybe they should. They keep on top, which is really bad news for me. That probably is an answer to the Scavenging Ooze or a way to go around it. Iteration is messed up. Yep, Iteration is very good. Iteration is very, very good. Scalding Tarn. So they're just gonna play a Murktide here anyway, even through my Scavenging Ooze. Why can't I draw like that? Am I just dead? Okay. Guess we play on. Let's cycle. I don't think there's anything that I could draw here. I'm gonna rev now. See if these resolves. If they have force, I'm actually just dead, right? But I don't want to let them untap and have like Hydroblast or something. They have the force. Okay, that is GG's, I think. As long as they don't put a creature in the graveyard there, this is GG's. They did not, so we just die to 9 power in the air. Pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Like we really drew like trash this entire match. But yep, 3-1, still not the worst. Alright, if there's a scary person to play against in a in a legacy event is JPA93. Literally one of the best legacy players in the world. This hand looks decent though. We have some okay interaction, and I would suspect that he's either playing, yeah, so he's on Delver. He could have been on Delver, or like he's best known for playing Sneak and Show, but like Sneak is really bad, so I would be surprised if he's playing Sneak and Show. Maybe I should have been, there should have been a prismatic ending, but this days is kind of good for me because it sets them back, and now I can get a basic plains and I can prismatic ending next turn. So let's do that. Get a basic plains, prismatic ending the DRC. I imagine he's going to like, yeah, cantrip in response and like do some stuff. Being in second Murktide. So that probably means that he's got another Murktide in hand. So DRC does die. Delver. Can I find... That's not terrible. I would have rather have drawn something like Bolt on end step. Huh. I kind of want to eat a Murktide. The problem is like that opens me up to Wasteland. Because I really want, I mean, I'm gonna have to fetch a red source here. So I kind of want to find Plateau. So I think I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna see what he does. He flips with iteration. So I'm gonna take 3 here. Okay. He's gonna drop a Murktide. He does drop a Murktide. So he's got iteration plus unknown in hand. Let's get Plateau. I'm gonna attempt to plow here. If he does have the days, he's gonna use it here. He brainstorms. So he looks for a days or a force. Does he find it? He does find it. Pitching iteration. So if we find a plow, I think we're gonna win. Nice. That's perfect. So that there goes that. So now we're looking really nice. I'm gonna slam Minsk. We go to 10. Wasteland is brutal, but he doesn't fire it off. Huge. That's absolutely huge. So we're gonna say yes. Gonna plus. And we're gonna serve. Huh, I'm kind of interested by the no Wasteland there. I guess he doesn't know that I'm missing my land drop. So maybe that's why. Now he wastes. Place land. And now we're gonna say no. Plus Ombu. Kill Delverino. 7, yeah. Next turn we're gonna draw 7. Ponder is pretty good. But even if he plays a Murktide, we just draw 7, so... Alright, so he chooses to shuffle and then he packs it in. Alright, so we want some Pyros, we want Reclamation, cut one of these, get another Endurance, cut the Libraries, cut Caracas. I guess I'm on the draw, so I'm gonna cut Wasteland. And Caracas is a white source. Collector Oof has to go, Minsk, and... Forgot... Oh, Knight of Autumn. There we go. This seems to be like a pretty solid game plan. It's just a pretty nice draw, I think. So I kind of need to draw some lands here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this means that I can now fetch a basic forest here and play Reclaimer. And again, I could hold on to the Reclaimer until it comes down as a 3-4. But the truth is that I kind of want my opponent to daze this Reclaimer. Yeah, because I'm interested in them slowing down their game plan a little bit so that I can catch up. Also, them using the daze there means that the endurance is more likely to resolve. Prismatic ending. Okay, so let's ending the Delver. Get the threat out of the board. Next turn, no waste is good. So play Mesa, pass. Place land, fetches. So he can play a Murktide here, but I don't think I care because I have it covered very nicely. So that resolves. I plow, and now we pass the turn. That's pretty nice. Kind of wild how whenever we draw like a mix of lands and spell, all of a sudden this matchup becomes a lot better, huh? Pretty crazy. Titania is tempting here, but I think I'm gonna go for the land. It makes their wastelands so much worse. And okay, so now we can actually fetch Reclaimer. And then we're just gonna let the Reclaimer is gonna be a 3/4. We can just let Reclaimer do the work. Let's fetch, and let's get Taiga. We're gonna rev. He brainstorms. We are getting some pretty good exchanges here. He could potentially get a 5/5 Murktide here. I think that's acceptable because I have double endurance. Iteration. Okay, so he played a land already, so he can't Murktide anymore. Iteration is obviously excellent for him, but we're gonna get to resolve this endurance. I guess I upkeep it. Let's fetch so I don't get got by something weird. Now we go to his upkeep. I'm gonna cast this endurance. Shuffle that away. And I guess I'm sacking these Caracas. Get Flagstones. He could have Submerge, which would be, yeah, exactly. Which would be pretty good for him, obviously. He keeps on top. Don't care about Wasteland. I think I still get Flagstones. I could just get Jetmir's Garden. Garden would make it so if I draw any land, I can double endurance. I think I'm just gonna get Flagstones though. Yeah, punished. Punished, but it's okay. Swing for 3. He kept on top with the DRC. I'm still gonna just let that go, I think. Yeah, that's like the most reasonable thing that he could have had. Beaning Iteration. Second DRC. Okay. Really doubt that he's gonna attack. Wow, he does. Okay. He probably has 4s, but like this, it's still a 2-for-1. So we basically undo the Expressive Iteration and we still have another Endurance. So this is like an absolutely great exchange for us. He's gonna get like the double Surveil though. So if he does have Murktide as the last card in hand, that may be a little bit of a problem. We only dealt with 1 Murktide so far. Yeah, so he probably has the 4s. That's why he's deep in the tank here. I think he's supposed to fire it off. Looks like he doesn't. Shuffles. Okay, it's pretty good. So he's gonna be drawing that. But we do get to eat these for free, which is nice. I guess he could have a bolt. He does. Okay. Has Iteration on top, so obviously it's not gonna bin that. So we can draw some good stuff here. Zenith is very good. So what do I want to Zenith for? I can just Zenith for Reclaimer. Oddly enough, I think that's just the best thing to do. Which is kind of wild, honestly, if you think about it. Yeah. There's the Iteration. Very good. He beans Force. So now we're going to be able to crack Flagstones. Brainstorm. Beaning Wasteland. So I guess if I let this resolve, he can actually drop a Murktide. So I'm gonna do this now. So if he has the Force, he has to use it now. But I don't want to be facing a Murktide right here. And now this coming turn, we can start to make some Sombos. And we are kind of racing him pretty well. I can Zenith now. I mean, I'm definitely attacking. I think that I want to get in 6 points of damage. He just chumps. I guess he may have a bolt, but that's fine regardless. Do I seen it for 3? I think I do. And I think I get ramen up. Maybe I can get Scavenging Ooze or another Endurance. But I think we're gonna go wide on them now. So we're just gonna do that, play Windswept Heath, and we're gonna pass the turn. I'm not gonna get Field online for now. Not gonna get Field online for now, because I don't want to get got by Submerge. Bolt my Endurance. Bean Delta. That's okay. And the reason that I have not activated Reclaimer now is that I'm playing around Submerge. Because what he can do is he can submerge my Reclaimer and make me shuffle. And that also gives them the DRC trigger, which is going to allow them to bin something and make the Murktide a little bit cheaper. So I'm not gonna do anything with the Reclaimer until my opponent shows their hand, basically. Okay, so I imagine they're not gonna shuffle because they kept on top with DRC. We could have gotten Bog there. We can still do that. There's the Murktide. So that the DRC doesn't attack. But I'm about to go wide on them. No attacks. And now we do this. Flagstones, yes. Get Jetmir's Garden. Here's Field. And do I want to fetch now? Because I don't have good attacks here, so I think I'm just gonna chill. Oof, that's a good draw. that's a real good draw. So yeah, I think that should be game. Hydroblast. All right, that's their last card, and they keep on top. That's really scary. Okay, so we're gonna do this now. Get Plains. We're gonna get Vesuva, copying Field of the Dead. And we can chump if we need to. And next turn we should have lethal with all of these zombies. Iteration is their best draw. Straight up. We can even fetch Dryad Arbor, and the Dryad Arbor makes, so if they block here, Dryad Arbor actually means that it's gonna be one more lethal threat. Brainstorm. That Hydroblast was big game. They keep it on top with DRC. So only 2 mana left. And we're going wild with zombies unless they have a sweeper of some kind? Another iteration. But now they're just dead, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So this is gonna be, like, even if they submerge the Endurance, this is gonna be 12 damage and then they're one shot. Like, I don't have to fetch because if they attack with everything, I'm just gonna have lethal in play anyway, and they can't bolt me out of the game. All right, so 4-1. All right, round number 6. This hand is a little bit slow. It can go turn 1 Dryad Arbor, and then sort of Scavenging Ooze, like do stuff from there. We already got Field of the Dead. We're gonna be hitting land drops. I think I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna go turn 1. I'm not gonna go turn 1 basic forest because I don't care if I get wastelanded, first of all, and second of all because hopefully it is a chalice, because I don't think I would care too much about that. It is a chalice. Hey, look at that. So I probably want to play around. I want to play around Fury. So which threat do I care the least about? I think that's Scavenging Ooze. And we're gonna, I guess, attack with Dryad Arbor, because we're not gonna be exiling anything. So this is mono red. It could be mono blue. It is mono red. It's just the most likely thing. Blood Moon. Not too troubled by that. I am gonna just like make sure I hit my land drop here. And I guess we're going to continue attacking. We can just deal with this whenever we feel like it by Zenith for 9 of Autumn. But right now it's actually slowing my opponent down a little bit, which is nice. Just block there. Once upon a time. I could go find Tracker. I think I'm kind of into that. So just Zenith for 3, Tireless Tracker, play planes. And I guess we're gonna pass the turn because I'm probably gonna attempt to trade this Scavenging Ooze for this Rabble Master. We really want to dodge Fury, but if we dodge Fury, then I think we're gonna be in really, really good shape. It looks like we did. Awesome. Fortunately, I'm gonna have to block like this. And I think I block with Scavenging Ooze because they can't Fury me here for 2. Okay. I guess we're gonna get Field of the Dead in play. Scrack Clue. Nice. Am I blowing that up? I think I'm blowing that up. It gives me another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this gives me a blocker. I think I'm gonna fetch right now actually for the Snow-Covered Forest, so I can guarantee the Tracker Clue. And then we're just gonna be doing some blocking here. Again, my opponent could have Fury. Fury would be a problem, but looks like they don't. And then we take the W. So we want Force of Vigor. And this matchup is one of the reasons in my testing I was doing, I was playing with, what's the name of the card? The one that, Meltdown. I was playing with 1 Meltdown, 1 Force, but then I was realizing that there was a bunch of matchups where I really want the Force, and the Meltdown doesn't quite do that much. So since I'm bringing in Forces, I can cut the Collector Roof. A Collector Roof slows down something like the Moxen that they get. They have Chrome Mox and stuff, but that seems like not enough, and I can always just like force those Mox. Those Moxen. Also, Bojuka Bog, it's really bad, so we cut that one. And this is 60. I think Savines is decent. What could I want? I guess I'm gonna play Savines over the other Endurance, because actually Savines is interesting. I can throw a Reclaimer into a Chalice, and then I can get it back with Reclamation, which is really funny. So now we're gonna be on the draw though, and this is when the mono red deck really gets its biggest edge, when it can go turn 1 Rabble Master into turn 2 Rabble Master, or turn 1 Lock Piece into turn 2 Lock Piece, or like turn 1 Lock Piece into turn 2 Pressure or something like that. So definitely good that we managed to get game 1. Definitely very happy about that. So we got a Force, we got Minsk, which is pretty nice. I think I'm keeping this hand. It's a little bit on the clunky side, but we don't care about like Blood Moon or anything like that, which is very nice. Don't care about Chalice. We lose to a turn 1 Gobo into turn 2 Gobo, so we do lose to that. No Lock Piece means that I want to, yeah, and now even more so now that we found Prismatic Ending, I'm just going to go get Dryad Arbor, Fable. So I think this is fine. I'm kind of interested in killing this token. I think I'm gonna do that. So let's get a basic planes, Prismatic Ending the Goblin, and swing for 1. Because the problem, they said the Goblin gets them too close to just hard casting Fury. And now next turn we can just go ahead and play Minsk. And Minsk should be a pretty big problem for them. If they play like a Lock Piece or something, we can just force a couple of turns from now. They got nothing? Oh wow, okay. Let's say yes. Put some counters here, and I think we swing. My opponent can get like a Gobo into play. But now if they Fury, they have to kill the Minsk, which means that Boo stays in play. The bad thing, oh, they are pitching, nice. Yeah, this is very good. So we can just hardcast this, so that's fine. I think I'm swinging, and I'm holding up Force to blow this up if I have to. I drew my second basic, so I think I'm just gonna play out Field this turn, and we're just gonna keep on the pressure. If I need to force this, I can. Them not finding second red source there is huge. If they do play a Goblin, I'm gonna have to force the reflection of Kiki Jiki, which is unfortunate, but I think it's okay. They have one goblin. If I draw literally the best draw in the deck, sign me up. The literal best draw in the deck. Sounds good to me. 5-1, baby. 5-1. Round number 7, getting paired against Leviathan. He usually plays elves. Ugh. I reluctantly keep this hand. Okay, Scalding Tarn. That's good. Maybe he's doing some Delver things. He is. Okay. So let's fetch for a basic forest. Definitely, I think I'd rather play versus Delver than play versus elves. Here's a Reclaimer. So he needs to bolt this right now. Then next turn I can bog, or I can go get another Reclaimer. Ponder. Really hoping for this Reclaimer to survive. Really, really hoping. It's got some interesting looking ponders. Looks cool. Will the future be brighter? Asked the girl. Really smiled. I will teach you how to make it so. Aw, that's cute. Alright. Imagine found bolt. Yep. Keeps on top. Hopefully I find another Reclaimer. Another Flagstones is not great. So I think we're gonna go for Dryad Arbor here, which is kind of rough, but it allows me to bog and delays the Murktide for a turn. The problem is, like, I have kind of no more gas, which is a big problem, and he's got iteration. So we're definitely behind here. We're behind by a fair amount. Flips another bolt, which kills the Arbor, which actually makes it so... Oh, that's gross. That clocks me. So now if I draw a Reclaimer, I mean, I didn't. And I'm not wastelanding because it doesn't really do anything. So I guess I'll play Foothills so I can draw a Reclaimer, or I can cast an Endurance if I draw it. I'm starting to feel like this matchup is all about the Endurances that we draw. Like when I played versus JPA, I drew a bunch of Endurances. And here, that has not been the case. I mean, to be fair, like the previous match that I lost versus Delver, like I also had like a similar thing right here. Like I drew 2 spells. Here I drew 3. In the first match that I played versus Delver, I drew only 2. Like I drew a land every single turn. So that, obviously that's not great. Obviously that's not great, but he may be considering Endurance, which makes me think that he does not have Daze. Because if he had Daze, he would have just served, right? And then he just dazes the Endurance. So the fact that he does not just like snap attack there makes me think that unless they found it off the iteration, of course, that the opponent does not have the Daze. Brainstorm. At this point, honestly, if I drew the Endurance, I would not cast it, I don't think. Though, to be fair, I don't know if I can realistically catch up here. Maybe I can. So how does me winning this game, how does that look like? I need to not lose 2 days. I need to find Swords to Plowshares, probably. The problem is at this point, my opponent must have like a hand filled with Force of Wills. And they cast already 2 iterations. They've been like smoothing their draws. They have, they've cantripped a bunch. So I'm assuming that they have multiple forces. And the 2-for-1s don't really hurt him. Basically at all. So it's rough. Another DRC. And it's a Reclaimer. Can I even Wasteland here? I'm not even sure I can Wasteland here. So that resolved. I think I have to, and I have to hope that this does anything at all. Which I really doubt it does. Maybe it does. If I get to on top of Reclaimer, at least I'm gonna get to bog my opponent. Take 6. Not great for me, obviously. Play Murktide. Iteration number 3, okay. And keep on top. That's like the scariest thing ever. So at this point, I think I need to find Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, it's just too much. At this point, it's just too much. Just gonna bold face. Been in Delver. Been in Brainstorm. Mystic Sanctuary, you get back Bolt on top. Okay. Oh, I guess. Oh no, they have play land. Okay. So I guess technically I could draw Scavenging Ooze, and I can eat my own. I can eat their Delver, I guess. So if I draw Scavenging Ooze, no, I guess I need to. Yeah, this is just too late. This is just one turn too late, unfortunately. I guess if I hadn't wastelanded, I could have been able to like do the thing, but if I hadn't wastelanded, they would have bolted me that turn. So I guess wastelanding did end up mattering. I think we're done here because I lose to the bolt that I know that's on top. So getting the Rebs, Reclamation, Wasteland, 4th Endurance, Knight of Autumn out, Collector Oof out, Sealed Libraries out. What? I always forget what I've been cutting. 1 Prismatic Ending, and I always forget what the last cut is. I think, oh, I've been cutting the Minsk. Yeah. Okay, so this hand has 2 basic lands, 3 basic lands, and it has Swords to Plowshares ×2 and Endurance. So I think I'm keeping this. It's a little bit on the slow side. Kind of hoping to find the Reb. I guess I'm just kind of hoping to find a Reclaimer more than anything else. Snow-covered island into Delver. So we're just gonna let that go. It's kind of nice. So I guess I'm gonna put a stop on my opponent's upkeep. Okay, so they do their bubble trick, which is good for them. Obviously, this is the right thing to do when you're playing Delver, so they draw the card, and then they get a new look at a flip. So now I think I'm just going to find the plains, and I'm gonna plow the Delver. Like, this is gonna be a significant amount of damage, unless I don't mind. I guess throwing some stuff away. Another Delver. So I think this one I'm not gonna plow. I'm gonna plow that one instead, I think. Flagstones. So let's just play a basic forest and pass the turn. It's kind of brutal that unless I find another red source, I can't protect the Endurance, unfortunately. So let's just plow the Delver. I wonder if he forces here. I really doubt it. Maybe he does, because that grows the DRC. We are getting a 2-for-1, however, if they force this plow. I would honestly really like for that to be the case, to be honest. Because what that would do is it would allow me to, next turn, resolve the Endurance through the Ace, because he allows me to use the Pyroblast now. It's really interesting how much he's tanking here. So he ends up deciding to force. Let me check real quick. Okay, so it's the same art, so I was trying to see if there was something like that going on. So that resolves. And now I'm gonna take it. And then what if they have like Expressive Iteration, I'm gonna Pyroblast that. Being in Wasteland, by the way. That's actually a great draw. So this allows me to basically do everything that I want here. So I'm just gonna wait for him to untap. I guess I messed up. Oh no, but if he plays Murktide, that's kind of fine because I just pyro it. Yeah, them playing the Wasteland there made things really awkward because I can't just like I don't know if I'm gonna have a second green source for Endurance, so I just can't fetch for Taiga to Pyroblast this one instead. I'm just kind of stuck. So that sucked a little bit. Like I really needed to use this mana on my opponent's last turn. I really needed to get value from that. So if he plays any spell, I'm gonna wait for a DRC trigger to resolve, and then I'm gonna Endurance in response. He plays Murktide instead, which is kind of fine. He's playing around Endurance so well. So here's Taiga. Gonna pyro that thing. Pass the turn. Draw Reclaimer. Sevin's Reclamation. It's actually not awful because it allows me to get the second planes. Allows me to get allows me to get Field of the Dead online a little bit quicker. The question is, how much do I want to play around days? Because I can do it right now, but I think I shouldn't. I think I should just chill. And next turn I can Sevin's. He's been playing so well. I love it. This is great. The nice thing here is that because I didn't play the Sevin's last turn, it means that I get to like untap an Endurance. So like if my Endurance does get forced, we can just get it back. And as we've seen multiple times, Endurance is an absolute house in this matchup. Second DRC. No attacks. So I'm gonna play out this, so that allows me to basically resolve Reclamation unimpeded. Ooh, I wonder if we get a force here, that would be so good for us. Okay, no force. So unlucky. So unlucky. So I can go find another Endurance. I think I'm just gonna let's just Reclamation for the Arid Mesa, because it's a different name as the Wooded Foothills, right? And now we play Field, which is most likely gonna force the Wasteland activation, which means that I get to get a couple of zombies. So he can have Submerge. He can have Submerge, which would be kind of a big deal. Shuffling Endurance away would be pretty bad for me. Okay. But I have to do this. Like, I'm just gonna scene it for... Reclaimer. Basic Forest. So that's a couple of zombies. Scene it for 1. Get Reclaimer. Say go. Obviously no attacks there. He's not super close to Delirium, but again, like, iteration into Submerge, it's basically just Delirium straight up, right? And at that point, obviously, either Submerge is just so much better because it doesn't put the Endurance on the graveyard. So that plays 2, 3, 4, 5. Sevin's there. We're gonna use the copy. We're gonna get Wooded Foothills with the copy. And I'm just not gonna do anything here. I'm just going to attack with the 2 zombies. And the reason for doing this is to prevent Delirium from becoming online. Thanks to Bojuka Bog. Oh my god. So we take 5? We take 10. So we go to 1. And then we lose to Lightning Bolt. Jesus! Well, I was not playing around Price of Progress. I have not seen a Price of Progress out of Delver in a really long time. He kept on top, so I'm just probably dead to a Lightning Bolt, I'm assuming. I can sack Savannah, get nothing. Well, I can sack Savannah, get Vesuva, copy a basic. And if I sack Savannah, copy a basic, I'm only gonna take 8. I'm gonna go down to 4. I guess I'm doing that. But then I lose to like fetch land into cantrip. So I basically have to choose what I want to lose to. I can lose to fetch land into cantrip, or Mystic Sanctuary, put Price of Progress on top and then just cantrip. Or I can lose to Lightning Bolt. So I guess I'm gonna try to play around the single card as opposed to the double card. Just copy this. And then I take 6. Just gonna fetch and fail to find, I guess. So now, I mean, there's a combination of cards that I lose to here, of course. And he kept on top, so I'm assuming that I'm dead. Just double bolt. Oh. Yeah, just double bolt. GG's. Yeah, I definitely was not expecting Price of Progress. I don't think I could have super played around it, to be honest. I don't think I was in super great. Like, I don't think my deck, by definition, is in super great shape to play around Price of Progress. So I don't know how much we could have actually done there. But wow, yeah, Price of Progress got me really, really good there. See you next round. Alright, so this is going to be the very last round, 8 rounds in this event, because we had exactly 212 players. So this is going to be the last round. I think I'm dead for top 8, but if I win this one, I may be able to sneak into top 16, which has some pretty reasonable prices. So this hand, though, I don't think is going to be able to do it. We do have turn 2 Reclaimer into Flagstones. I think that may be a little bit too slow. Opponent keeps 7, but I think I'm going to ship it. It's a lot of lands. I guess I'm going to keep this one. Keep, and I'm going to bottom Savannah. This allows me to fetch a basic if I'm playing against like the mono red deck or something. Secluded Courtyard. Wow. Okay. Well, I was definitely not expecting to see this. I think I want a Wasteland here. Even though I'm on the draw, my opponent well, now I definitely want a Wasteland. We're going to be able to play around my opponent's Wasteland fairly well with my basics. Clearing into Mom. Well, that Mom's going to have to go. So we're going to take 2 here. Basic Plains. It's a little bit awkward because now we don't have double green for Endurance. Bringing my opponent back to 20. It's pretty good though. Miss land drop. So here we're gonna pass the turn, and next turn I think I'm gonna play a Tireless Tracker. Okay, so this is looking good now. I think I'm gonna actually save the Swords to Plowshares. That's very nice. Allows me to play around my opponents. I guess I'm just gonna pass the turn and just do nothing. My opponent basically can't attack, because like I'm representing Endurance super hard. Which I do have, to be fair. But then I'm gonna just Wasteland lock them. Alright, so I guess we're not playing around Endurance. So, unless they have Solitude, there's no way my opponent's got Solitude. This is probably gonna prompt a concession right here. Pew! Here you go. Maybe I should have attacked there. Like, I'm just so absurdly far ahead right here. Nice. I'm just astronomically far ahead at this point. Swing with just the Endurance. I mean, we got them just Wasteland locked, so I think my opponent's just trying to like gather some information about my deck list, which is reasonable, of course. Which is certainly very reasonable. I'm not gonna show them that I'm splashing red though. So we just swing here, just get the game over with. Just gonna get the game over with. There's nothing they can draw. Kind of sweet though. Humans. Okay, so what do I care about here? Knuckle seems pretty good. And we probably want Crop Rot alongside that Knuckle. Probably Sylvan Library is not going to be the best on the draw, but Jukebox going to go bringing in another copy of Endurance, maybe? They could have stuff like... I mean, I don't know enough about their deck, right? Like, maybe they have Meddling Mages and, like, Reflector Mages and whatever, and maybe Pyroblast is okay. I really doubt it, though. Reclamation seems interesting, though. Collector Roof can stop Aether Vial. I'm kind of not super into Minsk. Like, it's just 4 mana against Thalia, and Esper Sentinel is going to be so much. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep this. Let's keep this. Secluded Courtyard once again. Esper Sentinel. So against Esper Sentinel, I'm just going to go with turn 1 Wasteland again. I'm not super afraid of the Sentinel. And I'm saving the Prismatic Ending for something like that actually matters, like a Mom. So Wasteland is in the graveyard. So I'm not going to be able to turn Reclaimer into a 3-power creature, so we're just going to play it right now. I was considering playing the Arid Mesa instead, but this also makes it interesting because it allows me to hold on to the Arid Mesa in case my opponent wastelands my Savannah. Let's see what they got here. Lieutenant. Okay. So, I think we just play another Reclaimer here and say go. Because now this is a 2-power creature, so I'm not going to be able to, you know, play the Crop Rot or Prismatic Ending. So just play the Arid Mesa. Like, if I really need to make the Reclaimer into a 3-4, I can do it and just have my opponent draw a card. Thalia's Lieutenant. So they don't have attacks here, though, which is kind of nice. Oh, they do have attacks, actually. So we can Crop Rot here. We Crop Rot for Flagstones. Yeah, I think we do that. My opponent's going to get to draw a card from the Lieutenant, but I think that's okay. From the Esper Sentinel, sorry. So let's just get another Savannah. We're gonna Crop Rot. You get to draw a card. And now we find Flagstones of Trocaire. But it prevents their guy from continuing to grow, which is pretty solid for me. Can Prismatic Ending the Esper Sentinel. They get to draw another card. Alternatively, I can just main phase fetch for... I can just main phase fetch for... what's his name? I think I'm just gonna pass. I could fetch Tabernacle is what I'm trying to say. Okay, a Gross Lieutenant for 1, which is not enough. Right. Let's do some of this. They can't have a Opposition Agent, which is nice. I think I'm gonna get another Flagstones here. Getting Wasteland is very tempting though. Probably can't afford to do it. Untap land would be great. Fantastic. That's awesome. So now I can Endurance and also crack Flagstones and do stuff. So this is looking pretty good here. Opposition Agent is the only problem. Potentially problematic card. Yeah. And it's potentially what my opponent's got here. I think that's fine. So they get a land. They get a land from the Opposition Agent. Oh, they don't have it? Interesting. Well, I don't have to play into it, so I can just do this. And I don't want to make them shuffle. That's land. Huh. Do I just Zenith for 1? Zenith for 1. I can Zenith for 0 too. I'm just gonna serve. And now we effectively time walk my opponent, right? Because here I'm willing to trade with anything that my opponent's got going on over there. And like if we do nothing, they can't do anything either, which is very nice for us. So if they do have a Opposition Agent here, which they do apparently, which we played around masterfully. So suck Flagstones. Yes, we're gonna put a Plateau in play. And then we're gonna fetch for Field of the Dead. And I think we're gonna fetch for a Forest here. We can cast Endurance, which is nice. We can fetch Dryad Arbor. I think I'm just gonna fetch for Taiga instead though. We've got a 3/4 and we got we got multiple 2/2s. This seems fine. Very happy with how I play that back there. Reflector Mage. Kind of annoying, but not really that big of an issue because we have Endurance. We're gonna get Titania next turn. What's gonna the Reflector Mage do? Like bounce a token? We are gonna be Prismatic Ending the Opposition Agent. That's gonna free up all of our ability to Zenith and stuff. We don't really have good attacks. I am gonna play a 3/4 though. And the reason to play the 3/4 here is mostly because I want to be using my mana. Again, because of Scavenging Ooze, I'm not gonna shuffle their graveyard. Wasteland. Wasteland's pretty nice. So play Wasteland. We're going to 1, 2, 3 to a position agent. To kill the position agent, I mean. I guess we can do that and pay for Esper Sentinel too. Or do I want to scene it for something in this turn? I think I'd rather pay for that. So let's obviously scene it first. White, red. Actually, let's tap properly. So red, green, white. So that kills a position agent. I'm gonna pay for Sentinel tax. And now we're gonna Wasteland their Cavernous Souls. And pass the turn. They did find another land. Makes things slightly more awkward because now I still can't do anything here in terms of I don't want to play into a position agent. Okay, so they're tapping. Yeah, that's good for me then. Reflector Mage. So this is not bad because it's just gonna bounce a token. They can't bounce the Endurance because we just recast it, so it's not a very good play. They bounce Endurance. Okay, take that. So we still have some good blocks here, so they don't have attacks. Oh, really? I don't think this is a good attack for them. I mean, the thing is that things are getting worse for them, so like it's a bad attack, but it makes sense. But now we double block and we double block. This clears my board, but like I'm just gonna, you know, go find Titania, and that's most likely gonna end the game. They're gonna get to draw a card though. And I think I'm gonna Wasteland them again. Zenith. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Zenith 4, 5. Draw your card, opponent. And get Titania. Titania gets Wasteland. Gonna trigger, get a zombie. Wasteland. Trigger Titania. And we're just gonna reclaim her here. The other alternative was to go for Raminap. The problem is, like, maybe they can overwhelm a Raminap. They cannot overwhelm Titania. If they're one card, they cannot overwhelm. It's gonna be this Titania. Next turn, we can go get Raminap. And that's just gonna lock them out. Alright. 6 and 2, baby. 6 and 2. Okay, we ended up getting 20th place, which is good for 300 play points at 15 treasure chests. Not bad. I mean, considering that this was a free event, obviously it was, you know, it was some 8 rounds of Magic, so there's that. But still a pretty good time. I'm pretty happy with how the deck performed. And yeah, actually our opponent managed to sneak into the top 8 Leviathan, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. When going back to the deck list, I think that this is a very good, just like it's a really good starting point. You know, I feel like this is a very good starting point. I think that the deck still needs a little bit of tuning. Like there needs to be a way to fix the Delver matchup. Again, like obviously I got cheesed out by Praster Prowess in one of them, and I just drew nothing in the other matchup. So I do feel like, I don't know if I got a little bit of lucky. I mean, I wouldn't want to say something like that. It's more of a matter of it just wasn't meant to be really, and my opponents were more ready than I was expecting. This deck can play around Price of Progress okay. I just was not thinking about it really, honestly, to be fair with you, which was, you know, a mistake on my part. But also, you know, my opponent was ready for the, you know, Lance style matchup, and they were rewarded for it. So that's perfectly fine, and that's how metagaming and especially the format like Legacy does work. I do like where this deck is going though. Like I'm very excited about it. I think that the only thing that I could see changing is, you know, I mean, of course you could change if you wanted to change like the one-off Tudor suite. Like if you wanted to try something like Nine of the Reliquary or stuff like that, you could. I don't think that you want to, but you could if you wanted to. And you know, we have 3 endurances in the main deck. You can go down to 2. I still think this card is absolutely fantastic, and I do actively want all 3 copies. But I would say this is a flex slot. The 3rd Minsk and Boo feels like a flex slot as well. and probably the third prismatic ending. All three of these are flex slots. Also, you could just straight up cut the libraries. I think they're great, but you could. So that there's like a lot of things that can be changed and tuned with the deck list still. This has felt like a very strong starting place though, and it definitely feels good. Like it feels good to like brew a deck from nothing and just end up doing pretty well. Like this is the most competitive legacy event that you can play realistically. Like this is literally the hardest legacy event that you could play. So feels good to have gotten there at least in the top 32. That's definitely very exciting. It ended up being that this was exactly 212 people, and 212 people was the cut. So if there had been one more person signing up, we would have had one extra round, and maybe somebody was going to be able to sneak at XN2 into the top 8. But we were pretty down the line anyways, so I don't think we would have been able to, even if we had gotten there. Hopefully you enjoyed this event. It was a long one for sure, but hopefully it was a good time and it was entertaining and interesting to watch. I feel like we had some pretty good plays. We had some interesting matchups, and yeah, we played against Delver 3 times. Went 1-2. But hopefully by the next time that I play in one of these events, something has been banned from Delver, because it's kind of egregious how much better than everything else it is. Like it just feels like it's just working on all cylinders every single time, because it is. Because it actually is. So I think it would be nice to see either Murktide or Expressive Iteration go. Either one of those would be a perfectly fine banning, and I really hope that that's the case, because yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that there's one deck that is so far ahead above everything else. Like, I think it ruins the format. I think it would be fine. It's fine to have a tier 1 deck, but this is like tier -5. Like, it's way too good. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. If you're interested in supporting the stream, you can do so again. You can do so through Patreon. You can do so through donations, and you can also do so by booking coaching sessions with me if you're interested in leveling up your game. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm a little bit tired, but wrapping this up right here. Thank you for watching once again, and have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.